Slay the Princess, the Pristine Cut, has a grand total of 131 achievements. Many of these are tied to the princesses you unlock, the princesses you save, and the princesses you slay. There's one very special ending, however, that sits all the way at the bottom of the global achievement board. The achievement is titled Your New World, with a global achievement rate of a measly 2.4%. It brings your attention in by stating that there are worse things to be than alone. Which leaves us to wonder, what might be worse than being alone? We learn the answer by being the worst version of ourselves. 5 lives, 5 princesses, 5 hearts that we need to destroy. This isn't going to be pretty. We start our journey of destroying the princesses by, surprisingly, loving the princess. We enter the cabin and do what we can do to free the damsel. We avoid the pushes of the narrator, eventually allowing the princess to cut us down in order to save herself from our lack of control. Coming back in our second life, we repeat the steps and go in unarmed. Thanks to the power of love, we are easily able to free the princess from her binds. We ask her what she wants to do now that she's free, and she tells us she hasn't really thought about it. She just wants to be with us and make us happy. This is not acceptable for our bitter heart. We question her, and question her more, and tell her that she needs more than just us, that love alone isn't enough. We break her down to a shell of herself, unwinded by our questioning. She had nothing, and then she had us, and then she was gone. She will make for a malleable heart. We decide to take a different course this time, and grab the blade on our way in. We waste no time, and slay the princess before she can even raise her voice in argument. We decide to stick around the cabin for a little bit, but not all of us like this plan. After a bit of discussion, we eventually agreed to end our wait and join the princess in death. Coming back a second time, we leave the blade upstairs as we venture into the basement. After all, the princess is already dead. What good would a blade do us? Her ghost is not exactly pleased to see us, but tells us that we can make it up to her by getting her out of here. We decide to agree to the protests of the narrator, and she fits herself snugly in with the rest of our ghosts. But we're not ready to walk out of here. We need a defeated heart for our new world. Just when the princess thinks she's free, we grab the knife off the table and send both of us back into the darkness. But we don't restart the path in the forest. We start our third life in the basement. Her ghost was in our head, and now we're in hers. Stuck down here, just waiting for the real us to come down and slay the princess. We could be the knight, saving her from the dragon. But instead, we stay silent. We hold our breath as the princess begs us to do something, anything, to speak to her, to speak to him, to save her, to just not leave her alone. But that's exactly what we do. As we slide the dagger into her chest and walk back up the stairs to leave her to a slow death, she asks us what she ever did to deserve this. She will make for a lonely heart. Running our last events on repeat, we head into the basement with dagger in hand. However, we feel regretful this time. We still see the ghost of the last princess bleeding out on the basement floor, alone and afraid. We hesitate this time, if only for a second. But that's enough time for her to see us coming. The second time around, we've learned our lesson. No hesitating. We grab the knife, hold tight to it against her commands. Our determined never breaks, and we resist the power of her words. We take a step forward, putting the weight of our choices behind us, and slay the princess. And then she slays us back. Coming back a third time, we're on a warpath. This is a matter of pride at this point. Cabin, knife, smash our way down to the basement. Slay the princess. Die. Come back. Die. Come back again. We shed our mortal vessel. It's only slowing us down. We don't need a physical form. We are rage and knives and death, and she is nothing. She is broken and cold and soulless. And we made her this way. So only we can kill her. She will make for a weathered heart. We need a change of strategy. We can't do that again. We turn around. We walk away from the cabin, only to end up at the cabin again. No problem. There's loads of paths we can take. We turn around again, to end up at another cabin, and then another, and another. An endless amount of cabins. We decide to go in one. It doesn't matter which. We know what's in them all. Would it even matter if we took the knife? Do our choices make a difference if they all end with us here in this basement with the princess? We go down. There are many stairs, and this one takes us to the bottom. We don't question where the others would have taken us. We imagine we already know the answer. We ask her name. She has multiple, but they're all the same. All the versions of her, they're still her, and we're still us. We say nothing because it doesn't matter what we say. We've said it all before, or we will say it eventually. She will make for a fractured heart. You know what? I think I liked that first princess the best. The one we didn't slay outright. Let's try getting a nice one like that again. Maybe we don't have to break her. Maybe we can just get one kind, complete heart. We head downstairs, grabbing the knife purely out of habit. We stop to talk to her, listening to the princess for the first time. We aren't gonna kill her. We're gonna free her. We look around for a key, find none, but the princess has other ideas. We can just cut her out of her shackles. So we do. The narrator does not like this, and once again begins forcing our hands. We've done this dance before, though, and warned the princess of our trickery. She blesses us with a quick death, knowing we will see each other again soon. Back in the woods, back to the cabin, grab the blade, it might come in handy. Sit with the princess, talk to her. Give her the knife this time, she can cut her own way out. At least that's what we assumed. We didn't imagine she'd start with the head, but at least it's her that gets to make the choice. We grab the knife and flee the scene, the image of her head rolling on the ground burned into our memory. But we know at this point we can't leave the cabin. He won't let us. We don't want to die anymore. Maybe a lifetime of bliss wouldn't be so bad. Unfortunately, not all of us agree. The forest is different this time, and we start with the blade already in hand. I'm tired of being told what to do, of my choices being forced on me, so I chuck the blade into the darkness. We don't have to betray her this time. We can do this right. Just this one time, we can leave her with a whole heart. We proceed to the cabin, which is less of a cabin and more of a bird cage of metal and hooks. We slip through the cracks, tumbling through the wires and wrapping ourselves in the chains of our mistakes. The princess is here, in 2 pieces, granted, but she's still here. She knows how this goes, that our choices have already been made. I'll take out my knife and I'll slay her. That's how the story goes. Except, I don't have the knife this time. The loop is broken. Faced with the reality of her own freedom for the first time, she frees herself from the cage. We bring her with us, climbing the chains out onto the surface, back into the sunshine. But we knew, all along, we couldn't leave her here with a complete heart. That's not the game we're playing. That's not the ending we need. We brought her so far, showed her the light again, and now we have to take it all away. We drop her back into the pit. She will make for a defeated heart. We have presented 5 broken hearts to her. We have killed them, abandoned them, shown them the light only to take it away. And through it all, we have carried on. We've left her behind and continued to live. We don't need her. We don't waste any time. Not now. We can't afford to hesitate. It's time for us to meet our new world. Thank you all for watching, and I hoped you enjoyed taking this journey with me. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know in comments. And maybe subscribe while you're down there.